Welcome, everybody, to DracCast episode 8. I am your host, your spooky horror host, Dracman. Joining me here today is one of the greatest minds, greatest thinkers of our generation, one of our greatest just intellectuals of today on my very intellectual talk show. We have Fran.
Howdy. Um, I don't really have an intro other than
That's
I'm
okay.
here and I post
Yeah.
bullshit online.
No, that's fine. That's cool. Fran, do you have anything to people might know you by?
I run the hang on, I need to think for a second. Sorry, head empty, no thoughts, only Miku. But I run a numerous amounts of you might know me. I'm a bit of a player in the niche internet micro celebrity scene. I run the page Devilman Core, which
You run Devilman Core?
yes, it's kind of something I've been running for since 2019 now, and I've posted mostly enjoyable content, mostly cringe. I also run Francore, which is my side project. I'm like the Pat the Bunny of the core community, addicted to heroin.
Yeah, addicted to heroin and underappreciated.
Well, he's clean now, so just that first part.
Okay,
But
well that's good. Oh,
yeah.
big news! Big news, Fran. I just literally just realized, got the notification. Trans skater boyfriend has followed Dracula Core. This is a big day.
Yo.
I used to pray for days like this. Maine is almost exactly like where I live, because it's like very close to where I live, and yeah, I have a story that I always would tell Americans when I used to work at a job where I did tours for Americans, and I would tell them that the that like when I was a little kid, I really wanted to go to the U.S. and my parents were like, "Okay, we're gonna go to Maine." And then we drove to Maine, and I was so excited. And like one of the first things I saw was a Tim Hortons, and I was like, "Fuck," because I thought it was gonna be like cowboys and shit.
Thought it was gonna be kind of like how we think it's like people in flannel shirts saying "eh" or whatever.
Yeah.
I also know that in Canada, this is something I know because a YouTuber I watch is Canadian and they do film stuff. It's
Jordan
your
Peterson.
movie sucks.
Yeah, your movie sucks.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forgot. Oh my god, I forgot Jordan Peterson's Canadian. I'm sorry about that, guys. Is he basically your guys' Alex Jones?
I feel like we have guys who are more like Alex Jones than Jordan Peterson. There's guys there was a group called Rebel Media. They probably still exist. And Rebel Media was our Alex Jones, but I don't even know that they're a thing anymore because I don't hear about them much.
Is Jordan Peterson just as pathetic over there as he is here? Because the dude just sounds like a total Melvin. Everyone's like, oh, he's this great thinker, but then you look at him, he's like, and it's women's fault that man must feel strong and eat beef all the time, and talks in his little fucking Kermit voice, and always looks like he's on the verge of tears. It's
he's different than Alex Jones in that Alex Jones was never taken seriously. Alex Jones used to not be a right-wing lunatic grifter. He was more of just a regular grifter. Crazy
he
guy.
was more apolitical conspiracy theory.
Exactly.
Until,
he believed in UFOs and stuff. Yeah, and then he pivoted when Obama came in. Exactly. Whereas Jordan Peterson was a respected professor at one point. From what I understand.
I don't believe you. Nothing about that man commands any sort of respect. That man... Well,
yeah. No, I agree. I didn't get it. But I knew people who were, professors who were, ostensibly left-wing. Who were well, his politics are bad, but he is actually he's, actually is good at, his specific field, which I think is psychology. And no, he isn't, and he continued to do things that eventually made that basically an indefensible opinion. But there was a time where like people in that field were like, yeah, he's like not an idiot. He's like a relatively good professor. And then
When
he,
Before Elon Musk really showed his ass to like the uninitiated, he could
yeah,
be like, oh, he seems like an okay guy, kind of
right,
goofy or whatever. And then
yeah,
he started talking about like his fucking like shitty cars or whatever, and shitty space stations, and his shitty tunnel, and
in the shape
like,
of babies' skulls.
oh, did he
That's
do? Has he become Measurehead from Disco Elysium?
yes. He's obsessed with the idea that babies are getting smarter, I think, because there's more C-sections happening, and so their brains don't get squished when they're born. Like he's found a way to make eugenics not about racism and just like even more just like a weird fucking thing.
No, you don't understand. Babies are getting smarter. You know how I know? See, I was watching Family Guy the other
Yeah.
day. And there was
That's
this
what-
baby, and his head was super squished, and he was so intelligent. I'm telling you, man.
Elon
And
Musk
Joe
seems
Rogan's
like
just like, that's crazy. Ever do DMT?
oh yeah. No, he's a funny character. I remember when Elon was like smart seeming, I should specify,
He was
but like
passing.
yeah, and he like people thought he was like cool, and even if they like didn't like him, they were like, yeah, but like he makes cool stuff. Now he doesn't even make cool stuff anymore.
It's because, like, he was like barely in the media. Like, at most, he
Yeah,
did like a cameo in like Iron
and-
Man 2 or whatever, and the only
yeah, or
reason people
Machete.
know. Oh, he was in Machete?
I think Machete kills. He shows up at the end of it as himself, and puts Machete in a rocket or something like that. I don't really remember. I just
And he
remember
was
that.
also, sorry to cut you off, but like he was also in like this one episode of The Simpsons where he's just like paying all the Simpsons to tell everyone how cool he is. Like Bart's like, yeah, you're the Bart
Yeah,
man, yo. I don't know what Bart says anymore.
skibbity toilet, Elon.
Ay caramba! Elon owns an emerald mine with child slaves.
From Ohio.
And like Lisa,
Ay caramba, Elon. You gotta pay your phantom tax.
Elon, when are you putting Skibbity Toilet on the moon?
Homer, our son won't stop talking about gooning. Oh, jeez, Marge. Oh. I can't do any of the voices. I'm better at Family Guy voices, but I'm still
We
bad at
going in down at Moe's later?
oh,
Carl, man.
Smithers, we need to ban TikTok.
Sir, I actually been on TikTok, and all I see
Shut
are
up,
posts
Smithers.
about
I'm
women.
going to go use my AI. Oh my god, it's The Weekend. Hi everybody, it's me, The Weekend. I'm a celebrity guest in this episode.
I remember in like The Simpsons, characters would actually like play a character like Michael Jackson. He played like that one guy who thought he was
Yeah.
Michael Jackson. You can't tell me Michael Jackson didn't do like at least some voice work for that episode.
Oh, he did. I think that ended up being true.
He also apparently
Or maybe he didn't.
he also apparently worked on the soundtrack for Sonic the Hedgehog 3.
Sonic. I remember
And that's
hearing
why
about
Sonic
that.
the Hedgehog 3 doesn't get ported to a lot of stuff, and if it does, it usually has its soundtrack changed.
Yeah, which is, I'm sure it's a good soundtrack. I've never heard it, but the man was good at music.
Oh yeah, he made like really good music. Like Billie Jean is like fucking great. Just ignore that he probably touched a bunch of kids.
Yeah. Which I think we mentioned it when I was talking to you the other day, but Bubbles is still alive. Has anyone gotten his take on that?
Don't know. I think Bubbles just wants to be left alone. Cause like imagine if like your dad was a shitty person and like every waking minute you were in the spotlight and someone's like, hey, how do you feel about the fact that your cat dad was a kitty diddler?
Right. No, that makes sense. I just more want people to take him to task for never talking out, or like maybe we can presume that he was like pressured. It's like how the kids from like iCarly couldn't talk about Dan Schneider or whatever.
Yeah, like because it is kind of like a hush-hush thing. Like, even if you do say it, there's like a chance they'll take you to court over it.
Yeah, and you know, and I think that Bubbles is really only still as successful as he is because of like
wait, sorry. I'm sorry I keep cutting you off. I'm not exactly a professional podcaster. But like Bubbles is the monkey. The kid's name is Blanket.
Yeah. Yeah.
Are you?
No, wait. I thought you were just doing. I just thought you were really leaning.
No, I thought we were talking about like Blanket, the kid, not the monkey.
No, I was doing a bit about why no one asked Bubbles.
I thought we were talking about the kid. I thought we were talking about Blanket, not like the monkey.
That's amazing. That's amazing. Yeah. Do you know that he took Bubbles to Japan and Bubbles had tea with the Emperor of Japan?
That's fucking awesome. That's like the third coolest thing I ever heard a monkey do.
Oh yeah. I saw a video of a monkey skateboarding wearing a Rasta hat earlier today.
I once saw a video of a monkey pissing in its own mouth.
Oh yeah. There's also there's that famous video of the monkey with the frog.
I never saw that video.
It's like a disgusting live leak shock video.
Oh, like Goatsy?
Reputation.
While we're on the topic of Goatsy, you think the Goatsy guy gets like recognized in public?
Oh my god. I know your asshole.
It's like, oh man, yo, bro, it's like the Goatsy guy. Like, you know how like
Yo, do it, man. Yo, do the thing. Come on. Do it. It's like the little kid in Shrek who's like
do the roar. He's like, nah, man, come on, man. I'm just trying to get groceries. Do the thing. The goats.
Yeah.
Open wide. The Goatsy story.
Yeah. So, Fran, we like to do a thing on this show. Did you ever see the show Inside the Actors Studio?
No, I don't watch like normal TV. I watch like cartoons that have big titties.
Okay. Well, I don't think there was ever an episode of Inside the Actors Studio with big titties. Inside the Actors Studio was a talk show where they would have different actors and sometimes other people involved in film on. And James Lipton was the interviewer. James Lipton was a seemingly kind of milquetoast old guy, although it did end up coming out later on that he had at one point been a pimp in France.
Wait.
Which is pretty funny.
Wait, go back to that. How, like, a pimp, like, did he have, like, the coat and everything, and, like, the hat and the cane?
No, so he specified, like, in France, I guess, like, at least the part of France he was in, prostitution is legal. And so he wasn't, it was, like, a much more normal thing. So he mostly was just, like, a business guy. But for prostitution, where he'd like basically like arrange, you know, meetups.
He was a madam of the whorehouse.
Yeah, he was more like a madam. They call it a mac in France, I guess. But like, I don't know. I have never been to France, nor have I ever been a pimp. So
as far as we know.
Yeah, exactly. So, anyway, on Inside the Actors Studio, which is probably my main inspiration for this show, they would do something called the Pivot questionnaire, which was an interview technique popularized, at least, by a guy named Pivot, who was an interviewer. So, these were done in, like, the 60s, I think. So, some of the questions are, like, a little dated, but they're really good, they're intellectual, and I want to ask you just a couple.
Like, some of the questions are a little dated. Do you mean, like, how do you feel about sharing a water fountain with an Irish person? Well,
here's one here. Fran, who you got in the Kendrick Cole Drake beef?
I've never listened to a Kendrick Lamar song ever, and I hate Drake, so I guess Kendrick. The rap I listen to mostly like three main rappers, and that's MF Doom,
Tom McDonald,
MF Doom, JPEG Mafia, Death Grips, Project Pat, and Viper. Although I am kind of reconsidering Viper because it turns out he's like a piece of shit.
I honestly I've not listened to a lot of Peggy since since he took that picture with Kanye.
Yeah.
Because that felt kind of fucked up. But whatever. Honestly, if you like that side of things, you would probably like genuinely unjerk like at least some of Kendrick's stuff. He is more experimental than most mainstream
Everyone keeps
artists.
like saying like To Pimp a Butterfly is good, so I gotta check that out. Right, so I guess I'm in the I guess I'm Team Kendrick or whatever.
Okay. Yeah. No, that makes sense. Yeah, so that was I. You know what? I said these were dated. That's actually very prescient since these questions were written in the 1960s, as far as I'm aware.
Man, I remember when Drake collabed with the Beatles. Gotta say, his remix of "It's Okay to Leave a Dog in a Hot Car." I mean, I'm not usually a fan of Drake, but like that song, that was like my anthem all throughout 1910.
You say
Yeah,
1910? Oh yeah, when Drake was at the World's Fair with
President Garfield.
with Al Jolson.
Who's there? President
That was
Garfield.
pretty
Remember,
great.
President Garfield got shot because of that beef. He was with Drake, and like he took a bullet for Drake.
Right.
And his last words.
And one of Kendrick's guys came up.
And President Garfield's last words were, "I hate Mondays." And that's why Drake wrote the.
His last words were, "I know when that hotline bling."
And that's why Drake went on to write for the Garfield comic strip for like over 40 years.
Oh wait, no, that makes sense because he also had that song with that one guy that was like "Club going up on a Tuesday," and it was actually about how they don't party on Mondays because Mondays are for morning.
Yeah, because like Garfield hates Mondays. You know, it was actually Drake who wrote the pipe strip. He was in the studio, was like, yeah, I mean, I'm started from the bottom, now I'm here, but I don't have my pipe with me because Garfield took it.
Yeah. And then he was on Degrassi.
Yeah, and man, he's such a. I will give Drake this. He is a real. Did you know he actually paralyzed himself when he was on Degrassi for like 3 years?
Yeah, no, I heard about that. He got polio?
He like literally broke his own spine. See, he went to Bangkor.
Fucking cracked it.
Yeah, like uncooked spaghetti, which I know you're not supposed to do, but like everyone kind of does it anyways. Because
don't tell me how to live my life.
I'm sorry.
Exactly.
I'm sorry, Italian people. I say people in very big air quotes, but not all of us have giant pots like your old grandma.
I got a pretty big pot.
I got like 2 big pots or whatever, so I can actually keep spaghetti like that.
Yeah.
I just do it despite Italians.
Speaking of Italians, this is the next question on the Pivot questionnaire.
Oh, the Italian question. I can answer this.
Yeah, so fuck, marry, kill. AJR,
Kill
AJJ,
AJR.
and AJ Soprano.
Okay. So,
and remember that AJ Soprano is a child at the beginning of the show. But he would be an adult now.
Oh man, I gotta admit, the episode whenever they went to Italy and they found Giorno Giovanna, it's like, hey, Tone, you hear about this new gang? It's the Passion gang. They fight using stands or some bullshit. Paulie, I don't care. I'm telling you.
Yeah. Yeah, that show is so good. Yeah. No, so it's AJR, who I assume you are killing.
No. I didn't hear like I heard AJ Soprano, AJR, but I don't know who the third one is.
Oh, AJJ, Andrew Jackson Jihad, the folk punk band.
Okay. So I'd fuck AJJ, kill AJ Soprano, and marry AJR, but I would divorce them and take like half their income.
Oh, that's smart. I never heard. See, that's a new meta for fuck, marry, kill.
Because they never say you have to like stay married to them.
Yeah, or treat them well. You could cheat on.
Fucking cheat on AJR while they're playing with their Legos.
And making songs about tiny violins and like Eraserhead.
And also making songs
or yodeling.
About dudes who marry their stepdaughters.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that song.
And also SpongeBob.
This isn't.
This is now just.
And SpongeBob.
This is like a fucking roast of AJR now.
I don't actually know enough about AJR to roast them sufficiently. I know their songs, but I don't know much about them as
They're
guys. I
cool.
know
Like,
that their
here's the thing.
names
Like,
are AJ and
here's the
R.
thing. Like, the dudes in AJR are like decent people. It's kind of like one of those instances where like cool, well-meaning
Mhm.
people just make shitty music. So like, I don't want to rag on them
Right.
too hard because like, you know, they're not hurting anybody. They're just hurting my ears. It's not like
It's like Imagine Dragons all seem like pretty
yeah,
nice
that's the
guys.
thing. It's like, or Nickelback. Like
Yeah.
Nickelback seem like nice guys.
Yeah. Nickelback seem like nice guys. Their music's not very good. I think a couple of their early songs are like kind of like guilty pleasure fun. But like, yeah, no, they're not a good
Okay,
band.
that
They
song that was
suck.
on like the Spider-Man soundtrack was okay, but I think it's only because like it was on.
Oh yeah.
And I say a hero, like he's Spider-Man, like early 2000s CGI Spider-Man swinging through New York with a distinct laugh at the World
Yeah.
Trade Center.
Yeah. And they did a song with Flo Rida.
Man, I gotta say, you know, like getting off topic, Sam Raimi truly was a visionary. I can't believe he destroyed the World Trade Center just for the Spider-Man movie, but I gotta say, it was earned.
Yeah. No, I mean, I think that was a really good call. I mean, it was a different time. I don't think a filmmaker could get away with that
Well, you
today.
know, I mean, you know, because the woke left or whatever try to cancel him.
Right.
You know,
Yeah, he made Doctor Strange in a multiverse of wokeness.
did you hear that they're turning Doctor Strange into Doctor Normal?
Oh my god. Well, to a guy like me, Doctor Strange was always Doctor Normal.
Yeah, you know, because like we live in a society.
Exactly.
But all right, let's
Exactly.
get on with the rest of these questions or whatever. Because like,
Oh, well, no. No, it's fine. We're not in any I mean, I'm not in a rush to get through them. Would you rather have unlimited goo or unlimited ooze?
is there like a difference between goo and ooze? Because like they seem like they're just
I'm
like
not
the
allowed
same.
to elaborate. You can only have goo or ooze. I'm not saying any more, Fran. Those are your
But they seem like
options.
the same thing if you really break it down. It's like breakfast and
Oh,
brunch.
see, you're not a real goo head. You're not a real slime and gunk fan like I
No,
am.
no, no.
I bet you can't even name. I bet you can't even name three kinds of noises they make when you squish
There's
them.
bazoink and squish. Okay,
Fuck, you are a real
I
fan.
know what I'm talking about. It just seems like goo and ooze
Yeah.
seems like those like things like music heads or whatever, like Anthony Fantano says when they're like talking about different music genres that like real people don't take.
Mhm.
Like whenever like you're talking to someone about like Death Grips, like what do you think kind of music Death Grips makes? If you talk to like a music head, it's like no, they make like industrial harsh noise, post punk or whatever. But if you talk to like someone like just a normal person, they'll say they make like hip hop or something.
Hi. Speaking of reviewers, I've as a hobby, I've recently started going on the channel Awesome subreddit
That's still a
and
thing.
sorting by controversial. This I just sent in general one of my favorite posts from there, which is titled "Is it me, or do a lot of former Channel Awesome producers come off as social justice warriors?" This was, of course, one of the most controversial posts. There's another one where someone just clipped a. Oh, hold on, actually. I will see if I can find that one because the comments are amazing. Yeah, so this is from one of the episodes. I don't know what episode, but Doug Walker says the N word in
Oh
it.
yeah, that's from the It's like a Santa Claus movie. It's not the Tim Allen body horror
Yes, it's.
masterpiece, but it's like
Is it Santa with muscles?
no, he never reviewed
The
that one. That was like a Spoonie thing,
okay.
and I just made myself
Okay.
sad remembering Spoonie.
I just yeah. Well, you also just outed yourself as someone who remembers Spoonie episodes, which is fine.
I'd
I
rather
also do.
hey. I'd rather die on my feet than live on my knees.
That's true. I'd rather be Spoonie than Forky.
Like
That's what I always
I
say.
still occasionally watch Linkara, even though some weird shit came out about him. And by weird shit, I mean,
Oh, sure.
like the fucking Muppet Baby thing and like the Lightbringer.
Yeah.
Which I don't know if that's like because it's like Kiwi Farm, so I'm like hesitant to believe it.
Yeah. I think he publicly admitted that the stuff about him reading like weird erotica was real, and his argument was just it was a long time ago, which like it's true, but also I don't know. I just wanted to read one of my favorite comments on this post where Doug says the N word, which was from a user named Hyru,
I'm
who
sorry
said
to like
people
cut you
forget.
off, but like Nostalgia Critic saying the N-word sounds like a fucking Oni Plays bit or something. Like there's no
It really does.
like that sounds like something someone would make up, like you see on like Twitter. It's like, "Hello, I'm the Nostalgia Critic. I remember it, so you don't have to." Today we're reviewing Birth of a Nation. Like,
Yeah, what can you say about beep?
Nostalgia Critic
Yeah.
reviews American History X. It's like,
Nostalgia Critic reviews Soul Man.
oh man. No, I got it. Nostalgia Critic. What the hell is the name of that one Mondo Carne movie where it's like about like a slave revolt or whatever?
Was it the one about Nat Turner?
I know it has like that scene where like someone,
Because I think that may have also just been called Birth of a Nation.
but it's like Mondo Carne,
'Cause
so
I
it's
think
like mid-70s or
oh, okay.
whatever.
Oh, then I don't know. Is it Goodbye Uncle?
Yeah,
No,
that
that's a
one. Goodbye,
documentary.
Uncle Tom.
Yeah, Nostalgia Critic reviews that. I think the Cinema Snob probably reviewed that movie.
I know he reviewed Cannibal Holocaust.
Oh yeah, he definitely did. I never watched that one, but I know he reviewed it.
I used to be
But
like
yeah, so
super into like Channel Awesome reviewers. You don't even know until like
oh yeah, 100%.
until like
That's and they were all social justice warriors, as that one guy was saying.
it was like I think I got out of it in around like 2016 or whatever when like
Yeah,
I still occasionally
I
watch
started.
Linkara from time to time, even though some of his opinions are cringe.
Right. No, I watched Todd in the Shadows.
Oh no,
Obviously, who
Todd's
is like
cool. Like
now
Todd,
just
I think out of like
Todd's great.
any of like
Todd is amazing.
the Channel Awesome reviewers, he has like aged the best. Like his content.
Mm-hmm. He's gotten better too, which is like worth noting. Lindsay Ellis is just like an actual like famous writer now, which is
Yeah.
pretty cool.
But who else? There's also like Film Brain. I think he still does stuff, and like
oh, okay.
and like it's really funny because like all of them like talk shit on Doug Walker for being like a terrible boss. So
Oh
when you go
yeah.
back and watch those like Channel Awesome specials, which like YouTube reviewers
Yeah.
don't do that anymore, which is kind of sad. Like video
No.
essayists, all they do is
We should do
like video like the core immunity of Infinity War.
yeah, we'll do like a Kick-Assia to Boldly Flee Suburban Nights, but for like the core pages.
So
where
it's
it'll be
like Kick-Assia, but even worse.
Oh no, it'll be way better
Because it'll have
because it'll have me in it.
yeah, and it'll have like very avant-garde. Like instead of like referencing like nerd movies, like how they reference like the Street Fighter movie with, of course, we'll reference like movies like Antichrist.
And Mondo Carney.
Yeah, like
and Cheska could probably, you know what? We could probably just get the people who are in that movie Crumbs that Cheska really likes. We could probably just get them to be in it because that movie. Have you seen Crumbs?
No, I haven't. Is it
that, like Ethiopian movie? It feels like one of those Channel Awesome movies, except that it's like also kind of well made, but it has like an even lower budget, and it's just people like fucking around.
It's like the thing about those like Channel Awesome movies and like the main difference between like have you ever seen like the Angry Video Game Nerd movie? It's not a particularly good movie, but if you're like a fan of the nerd, it's fun, and you can tell like the people had fun making it. With those Channel Awesome movies, even without like the background information of like everyone hated being there, they still just are like super awkward and weird and just not funny.
Oh, they're horribly made. Like, Doug Walker is a bad filmmaker, straight up.
Oh, what? You don't like the weird nostalgia critic skits that he started adding into his reviews circa 2015?
Oh, that reminds me. One of the other posts on this Reddit that I saw was someone saying that the Wall review was actually good.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and well, most of the comments are people being like, I didn't like it.
Like, the Wall review is like, even if you just ignore nostalgia, I think whenever I stopped watching Nostalgia Critic was like the last review of his I've ever watched was his Event Horizon review. And it was because like he just straight up had no idea what was going on in the plot. And was just bitching about not going on, even though he was just like outright ignoring it. The exact moment when I tuned out is like, why is he explaining everything to these people if they already know it? It's like, they don't. They didn't build the ship or whatever. Just that one guy did, and that's why he's explaining it. And it like dawned on me that a majority of the movies Nostalgia Critic reviews I didn't see for myself. So whenever it is like a movie, not only did a movie I saw for myself, but one I particularly like. Event Horizon is a great movie. It was just, man, this guy kind of sucks.
Oh, yeah. I just, the thing I was going to say from this comment that made me laugh was a guy named Hyru comments, people forget that white comedians saying the N-word was kind of pretty commonplace in the 2000s. This wasn't really seen as a big deal at the time. And then someone else comments, wow, now that just further invalidates Ms. Anthropony's bashing of this joke. Now, I don't know who Ms. Anthropony is.
Okay, this is a fucking rabbit hole I gotta go down to. How familiar are you with, like, commentary YouTubers?
I'm pretty familiar with commentary YouTubers.
So, like, what Ms. Anthropony is that Zayd something. Their pronouns are he, him, I think. I'm not sure. But, like, their whole deal was, like, they were like a My Little Pony YouTuber / anti-SJW thing or whatever.
Oh, okay.
But, like, they were also, like, anti-Nostalgia Critic and, like...
Well, because he's an SJW, is that?
No, I'm not just saying, because, like, didn't Doug also have, like, an anti-SJW phase or whatever? Because I remember it as, like, Blade Review. He was, like, talking about, like, how Tumblr makes up genders or something.
Oh, yeah, I don't know.
I don't know. Like, trying to decipher the politics of Channel Awesome alumni is like trying to solve a Rubik's Cube with your...
Most of them, I think, were, like, nominally left-wing, except for Linkara, who I think was, at least at one point, like a neocon.
He was, type. But, like, now he's, and like, now he's, like...
Not.
Yeah, he's, like... This might sound a little derogatory, but, like, now he's, like, Twitter leftist.
Right. Oh, okay. That makes me want to watch him even less, I will say. As, like someone who probably agrees with his...
Like, populist post-bread tube left-wing or whatever.
Right. That sounds like... Not that, like, there's anything wrong. I'm a left-wing person, but, like, Linkara being left-wing and, like, trying to talk to me about, like, leftism does sound like it's something that would make me want to die.
Straight up, I would detransition and, like, put on a, like, straight-up full-on, like, like, not SS uniform, like, before that, like...
You would dress as Mussolini? Oh, like Wilhelm II.
Yeah, like fucking a Kaiser uniform or whatever, like a Prussian uniform.
I was gonna say you don't really have to detransition for Mussolini because the lady who's in charge of Italy right now is basically just girl Mussolini.
Fucking trans-inclusive fascism.
Yeah. Well, no, she's actually I think super anti-LGBTQ. But she's just a woman Mussolini.
Man,
like
I
a lot
can't
of ways.
believe they wokeified Mussolini. Now there's girl Mussolini.
She also shares anime fan art that people do of her, and she doesn't wear shoes or socks. She's like barefoot all the time. So she
That
like
makes me
has
want to
weird
vomit, but
fans,
at the same time, I'm not surprised.
and she loves talking about The Witcher. I think she's like one of the right. She's like a right wing anime nerd, except that she's like 50.
I fucking hate right-wing anime nerds. Not only because they're right-wing,
Yeah.
but like also because they always have like the worst taste in anime.
Oh yeah, if someone has an anime profile picture, I assume they're wrong
Unless it's like of a
on
cool
Twitter.
anime, unless it's of like Hellsing or Black Lagoon or like Bubblegum Crisis or Ghost in the Shell. Or no, if it's like Berserk, I love Berserk, but Berserk has like a terrible fandom.
Oh yeah, it's about a big guy who fights people and is manly, and the guy he fights is like effeminate and gay.
Yeah, and there's like SA scenes or whatever. So like,
Yeah, and I mean, I would argue that I don't think Berserk is like inherently right wing, but I understand why those guys like
they
it.
like it very surface level understanding
Yeah,
of it. They
because
like
it's about a big guy who fights stuff.
fascism is all about aesthetics.
Yeah, it's like how Zack Snyder like accidentally makes fascist movies, but he just
Oh
has like
man, that
normal
brings me to what
politics.
I actually wanted to talk about and what I was gonna like edge into. We were gonna talk about
You're
like,
gonna edge? I don't think you can do that on the show.
well, I'm doing it right now and no one's stopping me.
Fuck.
What are they gonna do? Call the podcast police?
Call the sex police? Take you to horny jail?
You're going to horny jail. You're gonna do some hard time.
Anyway, you're thinking about Snyder.
Yeah, my somewhat beef with Snyder. I don't want to say beef because like I don't. Here's the thing, and I'm kind of weird about like Zack Snyder is I'm more charitable. Like I'm not a Snyder bot. Let's get that out of the way right now. I'm going to defend at least one of his movies and his potential to make movies. But like if we're talking about Zack Snyder's filmography, he only has one movie I like and three others I hate. Like in all total, like everything he's made, he's only has like made like four things I have strong feelings about. And the only movie of his I like is Watchmen. And we could talk for hours about Watchmen. I don't know how long this show usually lasts. To give you the long short of it, I think Watchmen is one of the greatest comics ever made. I know that's like a normie opinion, but like sometimes normies get it right, and this is one of the times they get it right. Watchmen is genuinely one of the best, and I'd argue one of the most important comics ever made. And the movie is pretty good up until the ending. I think the ending completely shits the bed. And his other movies, I hate. I think Man of Steel is terrible. I think Batman v Superman is fucking incompetent as hell.
It's really bad.
And Dawn of the Dead, I think, is just awful. Like if Dawn of the Dead was like an original movie, like what he did with fucking what's it called?
Army of the Dead?
Yeah, like I don't have any strong feelings about Army of the Dead because it's like an original thing or whatever, so like I don't care. In the grand scheme of things, it's harmless. It's just kind of a mid-zombie movie. And if like his Dawn of the Dead remake was like called something different, like if it was called Scrimblow of the Dead or something, I don't think I would care. But because it's like a remake of a really good zombie movie, it just kind of makes it worse. Because like the original Dawn of the Dead is really good, and I think it's aged really well. And like, you know, back when Romero could make good movies, because at the end of his life he made some pretty bad movies. Like Diary of the Dead is fucking butt cheeks. Yeah, like
more like Diarrhea of the Dead.
Land of the Dead was bad.
Which one's the found footage one? Is that Diary of the Dead?
Yeah, that's Diary of the Dead.
Okay, that's the one I've seen. I thought so.
Yeah, I think his Dawn of the Dead is fucking terrible. But like it was kind of a work for hire thing, and like it's also kind of James Gunn's fuck off. And I have some issues with James Gunn. I am excited for his DC universe though. But but back to Watchmen and Zack Snyder and accidentally making fascist propaganda. I think he does understand Watchmen enough, and I think he gets superheroes enough. And why I'm more charitable to him is because I think we're on a similar wavelength where we just get caught up in trying to make things really cool. Because one thing about this is, all right, so me and Livewire Core was we both kind of agreed like Batman is kind of becoming like too violent and fighting. Like I get why, because of like the Arkham games or whatever, and people want to see Batman beat people up, but it kind of leads into like this. It's kind of given rise to the whole Batman when he sees a jaywalker joke. Like in Arkham, like that's a video game, so like you can have like him just completely go full Kiryu mode on people, like no problem. But like in a more story-based medium, less interactive medium, it's kind of
Wait,
weird.
sorry, can I Kiryu mode?
Yeah, Yakuza.
Who's Kiryu?
You've never.
Oh, I don't know anything about Yakuza. I thought you meant the Mecha Godzilla.
Oh no, I was talking about Yakuza. Like those games are amazing. Go fuck it. Go play Yakuza 0 right now. We'll all wait. We'll wait like 40 hours for you to play Yakuza 0.
I'm gonna add like a fake transition music as if I went and played Yakuza.
Like you come back and you're like, back. Fran, you just showed me 40 hours of gay sex. And I'm like, yeah, I know.
Are you ready to enter the fantastic world of gay sex? Do you know about that?
Oh, you saw that too?
Yeah, I've seen that with Tarzan and Milo.
It was amazing. It just plays the JoJo opening.
Yeah. You know, I should talk to Charlton posting about that because he was reading Tarzan. I should ask him if Tarzan ever watches a video of gay sex.
It's Tarzan. He does everything.
Oh, fuck. Wait, he's reading A Feast Unknown right now, and I'm pretty sure like that's like the book that's famously like basically a work of like published crossover fanfic erotica where with Tarzan as one of the characters. Yeah, he's been reviewing that, and I think that has like some gay stuff in it.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, I've never read it. It's by a guy named Philip Jose Farmer who wrote like these books. He wrote the official biography of Tarzan and the official biography of Doc Savage, and they're like written as if they're real people. And he's Alan Moore. I read like an interview with Alan Moore where he said like that was one of his main inspirations for like the way he wrote superheroes, because Farmer was like the first guy to like look at these old pulp heroes and be like, okay, but what would they actually be like?
And while we're on the topic of Alan Moore and Watchmen and Zack Snyder, part of the reason why Watchmen I think has aged super well, because like even still like 30 or 40 years later, I think it is probably the most realistic take on superheroes, because like they're not. I really hate how like modern like things, they're like, oh, if superheroes were realistic, they'd be like the biggest assholes ever. And I think that's true for some of them, especially like people like the Comedian. But like 9 times out of 10, they'd be people like Dan Dreiberg, who's just like kind of a nerdy guy or whatever, who had like way too much money. But like,
I'm trying to think of other. Oh no, you go.
Like, I feel like 9 times out of 10, they'd be more like Dan Dreiberg, who was just this nerdy guy who had way too much money, but still like had pretty decent intentions. And it falls into the whole theme of Watchmen about like the superhero power fantasy that no matter how well-intentioned it is on some level inherently authoritarian. Right.
Well, and he dealt with that in Miracle Man as well, where like Miracle Man is sort of about the fact that the only way a superhero can save the world is to be authoritarian.
Right. And it's just like
that's kind of what it's about. It's about a bunch of stuff.
Like, and Alan Moore, I feel like truly gets what makes superheroes human, other than just making them like weirdo sex pest or racist. I mean, they can be those things. Yeah. Like Rorschach was extremely racist. He also was like, all right, I think there's like a reason so many like teenage boys and like 13-year-old boys gravitated towards Rorschach is because he was literally us, but like he could kick people's asses. The main thing about it is like one of the most notable lines that's like he's like just bitching about his landlord and says she's just like my whore mother telling me to clean my room. It's like that is literally like teenage boy fucking dialogue.
Yeah. His mask is his mom having sex with a guy.
Yeah.
Like that's literally what it is. It's literally like that joke that people make of like I love Rorschach, he's my favorite superhero. I wish his mask didn't have a picture of my parents having sex on it. Like literally what's on his mask.
Like being an adult is realizing just how funny of a character Rorschach really is. And like even if like the good ones are kind of messed up to some degree, because like they're still being like vigilantes and ignoring due process in favor of like their own like brand of justice. Like never watch like History Channel documentaries, but this one would air on it constantly. It was called Superheroes Unmasked, and it was like this big thing where it was like narrated by Keith David. It was pretty old. Will Eisner was still alive when this thing got made, so they had him on it. I don't know if you ever watched it. But,
I don't think I have, but I did used to watch stuff like that. I did used to watch the History Channel. I stopped because I didn't like it, because it's bad now. I was a Spike TV kid, like in terms of my history watch.
Can you?
Oh no, I didn't. I didn't watch that shit. My parents would not have let me watch Mansers.
My fucking mom didn't care. She hashtag single parent gang.
Oh yeah, so my parents are too like woke and like liberal for like to let me watch Mansers.
We watched but, like, Mansers. We watched 1,000 Ways to Die.
1,000 Ways to Die. I used to watch.
Deadliest Warrior.
Deadliest Warrior is so fucking bad, but I love it.
It's so fucking funny because it's just these like schmucks in the middle
the entire time
in the studio, and like they have like these like fucking mall ninja people who's like, here we have our samurai expert. It's just like some dude, and they like have him cut up a pig carcass, and like they look at him and be like, yeah, that pig carcass is dead. Like the doctor guy, he has like the lab coat and the stethoscope.
That is a kill shot, was like what he'd always say. Oh, that's a kill shot.
Yeah, Dr. His head is completely gone, and I don't know if you guys know this, but that would fucking kill somebody. Like that
exactly.
It was amazing. They'd have the reenactment battle.
Yeah, they would pretend that they had a simulation. Yeah. And they just did not. It was like an Excel spreadsheet. I remember the episode where they did Lawrence of Arabia versus Theodore Roosevelt, and that was awesome. But I remember that when they did the like weaknesses and bonuses, it was just like a brief flash of it when they were trying to show off like, we're doing real math, we promise. And they had all this stuff, and it's vividly in my brain. One of the things that it had was, for Lawrence of Arabia, weakness, masochism.
I didn't see that.
And I remember that was so funny to, like, in retrospect, because, so, like, I don't even know if you know how much you know about Lawrence of Arabia, but, like, historically speaking, Lawrence of Arabia was, like, his elaborate sexual fantasies in his diary. And for a long time, people didn't even know that they weren't real. They thought he'd just actually done this shit. But all of his diaries were like, oh, wouldn't it be so bad if the Arabs captured me and tied me up and whipped me, and they had big burly men who like were like beating me? So like they used masochism as a negative, or like it says weakness masochism, and that's so funny to me because it like implies that Teddy Roosevelt is gonna start like attacking him, and he's gonna be like, ooh, stop.
Teddy Roosevelt.
Although I will say
that would be
a
you have like a boner right now.
Couple. Yeah, I feel like you see guys who I feel like you see those two guys at like pride
I don't
parades.
know, like, was Teddy Roosevelt, like, did he ever have, like, any writings where he was like, man, I
No,
sure
no,
do
I
love
think he was
man-ass?
quite heterosexual. I just mean he has like a he has like a gay bear
Like
kind of
John
energy to
Mulaney,
him.
where, like, he's straight, but he has, like,
Yeah,
gay
or like
energy. Or, like, how, I forget if you said this, or if, like, Bane or Teddy said this yesterday, but, like, they said, like, Justin Bieber had, like, trans guy
oh, it
energy.
was me.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, he has T-boy swag. Justin Bieber is the only guy with T-boy swag who isn't trans.
Yeah, it's like, it's
Yeah,
faux gay or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
it feels like a glitch in the Matrix moment that these people are like straight or cis.
yeah, exactly. I think it would have been really funny if in that Deadliest Warrior episode it said weakness, gay, for Lawrence of Arabia. And then they had the Mansers guys come in and they were like, we love boobs.
Woke Mancer be like, how much femboy pussy could you eat an hour?
We're answering questions about men, like how to have sex with them.
Woke Mancer.
Wasn't that Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't know. I don't think so. I feel like if it is, people would like, bring that up. Like, oh yeah, Jimmy Kimmel was the Mansers guy.
Mansers, let's see, Mansers was hosted by. I thought he was on it, but he was on the Man Show. That's what it was. Did you ever see the Man Show?
No, I have not.
That was a Comedy Central show that was the same kind of thing, if not like kind of worse. But that was Jimmy Kimmel and Adam Carolla.
Ew, Adam Carolla.
Yeah, and every episode of that would be with them being like, we hate when women talk. We think that they should shut up and make me a sandwich. And then like they would end every episode with like girls with big boobs jumping on like a trampoline and then being like, "Oh yeah." And like I think there is like a prank in one episode where they try to get women to like be like, "Aren't women stupid?" Where they try to get them to sign a bunch of women on the street to sign a petition to end women's suffrage because they don't know what that means.
What the fuck is
Yeah. Oh, and Jimmy Kimmel did blackface in it, like frequently too.
this? Seems like such a fucking time capsule of like late
Oh yeah.
90s, early 2000s, like shit. Because like I don't even think people found this funny back then. It was just like
No,
what
like
coked up network executives
yeah.
thought people wanted to watch.
Oh yeah, no, Joe Rogan was on it too.
Why does that not surprise me?
I guess he took over after Adam Carolla left. So I never watched shit. This when we were talking about Mansers, this is what I thought we were talking about.
Oh no, Masters was
Which was
like the other thing. It was like they had like all, and they also had like these B-roll of like girls in bikinis and like schlubby guys going
yeah,
like yeah or whatever. It was like,
yeah. It was the same kind of thing. But I now that you mention it, like it was. I remember that one, and that one was a lot less like fucked up
and more like
from what I remember.
you could shit post about it or whatever. Like,
Yeah, Mansers was just like it was like a Reddit show where it's like bacon is awesome. Whereas like the man,
and they
yeah,
also did like this one thing where it's like, here's how to have sex with your car.
okay, that's awesome. Finally, a show for guys like me who like Transformers.
Okay, first things first, you're not fucking the car in Transformers, you're fucking the robot, you swine.
Well, eventually you get tired of that and you want to switch
No,
things
you
up
never
with your
have you
robot.
seen fucking Drac. I say this as a Transformers fan. You will never get tired of fucking RC or Flame War or Alita 1.
Or Rodimus.
Rodimus. I actually like Rodimus, like not in like a
There was
sexual
an
way,
artist.
but like as a
There
character.
was an artist for the IDW comics who would always draw Rodimus like a femboy.
Oh
It was
yeah,
very fun.
like fucking dude. he made Rodimus look very submissive and breedable. Like, have you seen like the Fortnite skin for Optimus Prime?
Yeah.
Yeah, like fucking man. What woke manters be like? What is the science behind femboy hips? We talk to
What is the
femboy experts.
Their femboy expert is just me, and I'm like, yeah. Well, it comes down to you have to be thin, but not skinny, because then it's different.
It needs to be like pear shaped.
There needs to be enough fat that there can be curves, and then they're like, yeah. Anyway, let's cut to literally anything else.
It's like, we like curves and mansers. Like, it's just...
By the way, I want to make it very clear, because I don't want there to be any confusion about this. People at home, I do like both beer and boobs. I know I was making fun of that. I like both of those things, and I don't want it to be misconstrued that I don't like those things. And if any women want to show me their boobs or buy me a beer, I would be totally okay with that. Anyways.
Talking about like Mansers or whatever, there was also like 1,000 Days to Die, which was also another they had like Ron Perlman for like a good majority of it until like the last season.
Hell yeah.
And they would like, all right, so here's the thing, it would be like, to protect the identities of the deceased, we changed names. And like, but they would also like just make up their own stories. Like the story would be like, oh, this person like fell off a building or something, and they got like the same doctor guy from Deadliest Warrior, if you recognize him,
Armin Dorian. Hell yeah.
He's like they got like he's still in the scrubs. I don't think he has any other outfits. I think if you ever like just see him in like the store, he's still wearing those scrubs. It's like how he joked earlier about the goatsy guy like getting recognized. It's like, oh, Dr. Dorian! No, it's Dr. Dorian from Deadliest Warrior. Do the thing. Well, you see, if he got shot in the head, he would die. It's like, oh!
Yeah. What if they did an episode of 100 Ways or 1,000 Ways to Die, and they're like, to protect the identity of the deceased, we've changed the name. There was once a president named Ron Ref Renedy, and he was in Dallas. And they like do the whole Kennedy assassination, but they like won't say his name. Fran, have you ever seen the Spike TV alternate history pilot?
Oh God, yes. Okay, so like I have a story about this. Is like for years this laid dormant in my mind palace. For years, until like I saw a video on YouTube by like the guy who does like alternate history hub, who seems like a cool guy.
Oh yeah, Cody is great. I saw a video about it by Talkernet History, and that was what like
and it was like this unearthed memory or whatever. Like whenever like you finally have context to something you've watched when you were a kid. Like you're an adult and you watch Fooly Cooley outside of like 1 a.m. of Adult Swim, and you're like, oh, so that's what it's about. It's like I remember this. It was like this weird alternate history thing, but like I couldn't like place a name or like where I saw it. And of course, like any hack alternate history fiction they do, what if the Nazis won World War II? And like when you don't know anything about how incompetent the Nazis are. By the way, if like you are a Nazi and listening to this,
do the stanky leg. If there's any Nazis in the audience listening to this, the woke left is trying to stop you from eating your poop. It's a callback to last episode.
The woke left is trying to put women in your Space Wizard movies, and like that. I mean, my wife's boyfriend told me that Sweet Baby Inc. hold Game Deb's families hostage and like say you gotta put a woman of color or we're gonna kill your fucking family.
If there's any Nazis at home, I love drinking soy.
Actually never had soy before.
I have. It's not very good, to be honest.
Like,
it's one of those ones where I'm like,
or whatever, but like not like soy milk. Like my favorite non-dairy milk is like cashew milk, if you've ever had that.
I have. I don't like any non-dairy milk.
Oh, cashew milk's like the shit. It's great. Like I once had like cashew chocolate milk, getting back to the topic of like
Spike TV.
Yeah, you like this weird alternate history thing. And like it did like the whole, oh, what if the Nazis won World War II, but also weren't incredibly incompetent weirdos. And like it just shows like modern day like fucking community theater budget.
Like modern day, but the Nazis are in control. And like also seemingly they've only taken over America. They didn't take over the rest of the world.
They didn't take over Africa, which is something that they wanted to do. Like
they didn't take over Russia, which is like what they wanted to do.
Like it's only America. No other country in the world exists. And they just like
it's
because like D-Day failed. And like correct me if I'm wrong, but like in the grand scheme of World War II, D-Day really wasn't that important, was it?
No, it was important, but they wouldn't have made them win the war. From what I understand, if they had won D-Day, which was like not going to happen from what I know, the Soviets would have just done better.
Yeah,
but, like, the Nazis would have still lost.
Like, just like this just thinks like, oh, Americans didn't take the beach. I just like every other country is just like, war's over. It was like a fucking it was like a Halo multiplayer match. Like the Nazis just got more points.
Exactly. And then they also have nukes in it too. I remember.
And as we all know, nukes end all wars, especially if they're against countries that were already gonna surrender.
Especially if they're against countries that have nukes. You know what I mean? If the Nazis developed the nuclear bomb, the documentary, or the special overlooks the fact that the Americans already had an atom bomb, like not long after. And so, like, the Nazis, it would have just been a nuclear war. I mean, the like idea, like I like alternate history, and like ideas like that are like fun, but like that one is so badly done, and like it's not. Like, if they did an actual, like they could have done an actual like, what if D-Day failed, and then like actually talk about what would have happened. But instead, they're clearly like trying to get to a point.
Like very pop alternate history. It's like
it's like Wolfenstein,
from someone who's only seen Man in a High Castle.
Yeah, which honestly, I will say I've read Man in the High Castle, the book, and it's terrific. Then I watched the show.
I have seen I have played like the new Wolfenstein games. And, like, they're good, but they kind of fall into, like, some of the same, like, trappings of, oh, if America loses. Like, I get that it's a video game. They need, like, a setting for you to, like, kill a bunch of Nazis, and they don't want to do, like, Germany again. So, like, I get it. But, like...
Yeah, I do, too.
But, like, I feel like it kind of falls into, like, a lot of the same trappings. Like
Man in the High Castle, the book... is the thing that I like about it is that it's only kind of about the Nazis winning World War II. It's also about the nature of reality and fate and spiritualism. It's a very like philosophical, pseudo-religious book because it's Philip K. Dick, and he was like a weird religious schizophrenic who did a lot of acid.
He also made Blade Runner. And I gotta admit...
Yeah, which is the same way.
Like, whenever Philip K. Dick wrote about how, and then Ryan Gosling went to the electric sheep factory.
Yeah. No, like, if you ever read any of Philip K. Dick's stuff, it's all fucking insane.
Oh, he's writing, I haven't actually read it, but I had it, like, a summary, like, I added a summary, described it to me in, like, a YouTube video of, like, the summary for, We Can Remember It For You Wholesale.
Yes, exactly, which is what Total Recall is based on.
In We Can Remember It For You Wholesale, the Arnold Schwarzenegger's character, I forget his name. It's been a while since I've seen Total Recall. It's a great movie. There's a lady with tits in it. It's fucking awesome.
Yeah.
But
it's Verhoeven. Every movie he makes
Verhoeven is like a fucking masterpiece director. He's great.
RoboCop is the best movie ever.
Yeah. But like he goes to like the we can remember it for you place. And it's like, hey, I want the memories that, like, I'm a secret agent or whatever. And, like, oh, so far so good. It's just like the movie, except when they're about to give him the memories that he's like a secret agent, they find out, oh shit, this guy actually is a secret agent. And then the government tries to kill him or whatever, and like a bunch of other shit happens. And like there's this like catch-22. It's like, okay, if you guys wipe the secret agent memories from my head, I won't expose all the secret agent bullshit, but you have to replace them with new memories. And they're like, okay, man, what new memories do you want? And like, Quaid, that's his name, fucking Quaid, is like, I want the memory that, like, aliens trusted me, that, like, I saved, like, tiny aliens, and they were like, hey, man, we could totally take over Earth or whatever, but we're not gonna do that until after you're dead because you're awesome. And like, okay, man, it's like, I want that memory. And they're like, man, that's fucking stupid, but we'll give you that anyways. Except, here's the big twist moment. They find out that memory's true too. And that he actually is like friends with aliens or whatever. And they said, hey, you know, we're gonna take over the Earth, but since you're a G, we're gonna wait until like you die of old age first. So like they can't kill him because, like, if they do, then the aliens will invade the Earth, but they can't, like, just let him keep going because he still has, like, the secret agent secrets.
Yeah, everything Dick writes is like that. Like, Man in the High Castle is about the idea that if we all agree that the Nazis didn't win World War II, they won't. Or, like, the idea that the universe we live in is being imagined by a guy in the book, The Man in the High Castle, and that the real universe is like a different one where we did win World War II, but in a different way.
What other way could...
It's
I
weird.
imagine there's like a million other ways we could have won World War II.
Yeah, so in that, the way that it's written is it's supposed to be like from the perspective of someone who doesn't know what happened in history. They only know what happened in a world where the Nazis did win. So he imagines a world where because the Soviets were so easily defeated by the Nazis in their universe, clearly they would fail in this world too. And the Allies capture Hitler and they try him at the Hague or whatever and execute him. And then there's a Cold War between Britain and America to determine the fate of like Europe, and America becomes like an isolationist. I think they're an isolationist superpower, and then I don't even remember, but the idea is that he doesn't. It's like what a guy who doesn't know what happened in history would think would happen. So it's like almost this alternate history within an alternate history. But yeah, so Fran, do you have anything you want to promote to people? I don't know if you have, like, other than your page.
No, I don't really do a lot other than be like silly on the internet.
Okay.
But
Well, if you don't have any of your own work to promote, do you have like a thing you want to recommend to people?
oh, I would tell people to go play Slave Zero X, and it's an amazing game. It's the PS4 version is kind of buggy at the moment, but overall it's a really good game, and I want it to do well because like character action games typically don't do well commercially because like it's a hard genre to recommend. But I would recommend it. It's pretty good.
Awesome. To play that game, like Devilman Core and Fran Core. Thanks for enjoying the show. Next episode, can't guarantee anything. Pretty sure next episode we're gonna have Florence Pugh as a guest. Here to promote Dune. That'll be fun. Anyway, till next time, everyone. I'll catch you on the flip side. I love y'all. Whatever they used to say on the Philip DeFranco show. And I'm trying to figure out how to make Craig. I'm trying to stop the recording. I think that went well.
That's pretty good. You should have ended it by saying George Bush does not care about black people.
Oh, and George Bush doesn't care about black people.
Just...
I'll leave all this part in because it's funny.
Man, remember when Kanye was cool? I miss the old Kanye.